Yo, what's the deal, man? It's the boy headquarters back with y'all tapping in with another one, man. Today, man, I'm finna talk about this big Eurico, man. You feel me? This shit crazy, man. Pretty sure everybody on, you feel me, in the YouTube streets that heard the news. They got this big U/Rolling 60s indictment going on. Different podcasters that got wrapped up in this. Brick Baby, a couple other names, you feel me? People from No Jumper and shit like that. But, the topic really is about accountability. You know what I'm saying? Taking accountability for your own actions when you go on these different platforms. I'm seeing a lot of different arguments of people saying, trying to hold the podcast accountable for what people say when they come on these different podcasts. That's backwards and far-fetched, man. Like, as a grown man, dog, you gotta take accountability for the shit you say, you feel me, that come out your mouth. Especially when you on a podcast. A podcast that's going worldwide, going for the, on the World Wide Web, on the internet. For people to believe that hosts, such as, Adam 22 or DJ Vlad or something like that, is the reason or is responsible, because a lot of times guys get on the internet and say, that they the feds, you feel me, them the police, they the police. And to me, that's just like complete, bro. Even if they was the feds, even if they was the police, your duty, like, you got to take accountability. Like, if you actively involved in some shit, why would you get on the internet talking about it? That's like retarded in itself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you know you actively involved in criminality and shit of that nature, things of that nature, why would you put that business out on the internet? That's where accountability comes into play. You don't get on no podcast telling all your business like that. Not if you still in it. Not if you still doing it. And if you are still doing it, then you create a whole nother character, a whole nother narrative about yourself. That's, you steer away, completely if you actively involved in shit like that. So I can't really agree with the whole concept that, these podcasts is, the police and shit like that. Although they do, they might ask some police questions. It's your duty to deflect that. You feel me? It's your duty to bounce that, make that shit bounce up off it. You can't. Now, you'll say somebody, I've seen an argument where it's like, well, these guys ain't, these guys kind of slow, or some of these guys ain't got it all upstairs. But it's like, okay, yeah, but if you want to go save the world, then go save that man. You feel what I'm saying? You go save that man. You go jump in that man DM, get that man phone number, call that man number and say something then. You can't put the onus on the podcaster for doing that. You get what I'm saying? And that's, like, again, going back to accountability. Every man on this planet is accountable for his own actions. That's some shit you learn as a kid. That's some shit you learn early. So, if you out here doing it and you actively involved and you do, like, you don't get on no podcast, man. It ain't no statute of limitations on certain shit anyway, so certain shit you don't even need to be talking about to begin with. But if you make that decision to jump out there and want to make your story or your narrative content, that's on you. You get what I'm saying? And you can't hold other people accountable for that, And y'all have allowed these different hosts of these podcasts to come and infiltrate our culture anyway. Because if y'all felt this way, or if this, this narrative or this idea spread it around that, we feel like these people is such and such and such and such, then why do y'all continue to go on these podcasts then? If you feel like this person the feds or this person the police, why continue to go on their podcast? Because you're trying to push you're trying to push your brand or push your product or market your product. So it's like, you can't have it both ways. You feel me? You going on these different platforms because they the big platforms. They got all the motion. You know what I'm saying? They got all the views and the following. So you going on there to promote yourself, but then you going on there promoting yourself in a negative light, or promoting yourself, involved in that you shouldn't even be involved in. So you can't have it both ways, man. Like that's some shit I totally disagree with. And if that's the case, like you shouldn't even be actively involved in that shit anyway. I mean, I can't tell a man to do, what to do, but if you going in this different direction, you're trying to be an entertainer, you can't mix both. You gotta, you feel me? You gotta pick one. You can't have one foot here, one foot there. It never works that way. You can't serve two masters anyway. So if you're gonna make this decision to go be a podcaster, or go be an entertainer, a rapper, or a comedian, or whatever you're trying to do, whatever you marketing and promoting yourself as when you go on these platforms, you gotta leave all that behind. You gotta have you a 9-to-5 or some skills going on where you can generate income on the back end until this pop for you. I mean, that goes back to taking accountability. You feel what I'm saying? Like that goes back to taking ownership of one's actions, man. It's unfortunate what's going on, but if what they saying is true, and like, I mean, hey man, like some of that shit is some heinous ass, bro. Like you can't, that type of shit, you feel me? That only gonna last for so long anyway. So, and that's another topic. That's more so dealing with the actual facts of the case, which I don't know if I'm gonna do a video on that or not, but I'm just speaking about accountability at this point. And that's something that's severely lacking in our community. It's like all this entitlement. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody entitled, man. Like that's lacking in the society as it is now. But it's like nobody want to take accountability for the shit they doing. Like, oh, it's this person's fault. Oh, it's that person's fault. Oh, they made me do it. Oh, they shouldn't have asked me these questions. Like, how do that even sound, bro? Like, how do that even sound? Like, they shouldn't have asked you these questions. They doing their job. Their job is to ask questions and pry, and you can steer them in another direction. You feel me? You could, like I said, you feel me? Let that bounce off of you. Like, don't answer that question. Pass, next question. You get what I'm saying? It's that simple. These lights and shit get on, and then they get to asking questions. You feel under pressure to answer the question, but then it's almost like, you feel me? In that sense, you involved in criminality. But if you get under pressure, you gonna tell it all, because you kind of setting that precedent. If some podcast or somebody asks you a question about something, and the lights and the cameras and everything got you on, sweating under pressure, and you feel like you just got to give up all the information, what you gonna do when once this information you gave up lands you in the worst position? What you gonna do then? You gonna give up the information then too? So y'all can't have it both ways, man. Y'all, they killing me with this, bro. You get taught that as a kid. I mean, if you were raised and reared the right way, you get taught that as a kid, man. That's the whole concept of child rearing. You feel me? You rear a child to hold them accountable for the shit they doing, for the shit that's not acceptable. You get what I'm saying? So it just seemed like a lot of people ain't got that. They didn't get that. You know what I mean? Or that concept didn't really land in their brain. It didn't get instilled in the right way. And it's another guy on there. You feel me? He's, he got locked up in the indictment, but I guess he's making phone calls, essentially doing podcasts from where he at, from jail. But it's people like, on the set that's like, oh man, hang up the phone, man. Like he digging this hole deeper, and it's like, bro, like clearly the man wants to do this. You get what I'm saying? So in that case, it's like, anybody gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. You feel me? So you can't force nobody to do it your way. You get me? Like, if they want to get on there and expose it, you feel me? They don't have this concept of, you feel me, holding themselves accountable, or they feel like, a lot of times people just don't care, bro. Like, they just don't give a like, it's a lot of people out here that just don't give a they'll get on camera and say whatever because they don't care. So we preaching this whole idea of accountability, or not saying certain on podcasts, and it's people that really just don't give a like, they just like, hey man, I'm gonna tell the truth, I'm gonna keep it real, whatever. That's their ideal of keeping it real. I don't agree with that, but that's other people. Everybody got their own, you feel me, different strokes for different folks, man. Everybody got their own way of doing shit. But just back to accountability, man. That's something that's severely lacking in this community, bro. And I don't know if we ever gonna get that back, you feel me, as a whole. But that's something that'll do everybody justice, bro. Like being accountable for your own actions. You feel me? Like holding yourself accountable for your own actions. It seems like nowadays when you hold people accountable for the shit they do, they play victim. You get what I'm saying? So it's weird, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you never was taught it. Nobody ever held you accountable as a child, as a teenager. So you get older and you got this mentality that you entitled and could just do whatever the you want to do. But then when somebody comes to hold you accountable, now you playing victim. Oh, woe is me type. It's confusing, man. Like it really confuses me. So yeah, man, you feel me? The word of the day is accountability. You feel me? We need more accountability, less entitlement. Everybody grown, man. Like everybody of age, man. You can't just be out here doing shit, man, and think, you're not gonna have to be held accountable for that shit. So, look up the definition of it. Try to practice that shit. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Signing off.